welcome to a new edition of our show, Money Means Business. And as we always say, business means money. Stability and business mean a lot of money. There's a lot to talk about in every episode, and in this episode especially. Also, we do have a very interesting happenings and developments taking place on the local scene, of course, internationally speaking as well, but then we focus on Egypt. Starting with what we will focus on is what's going on in Sharm el-Sheikh. And what's going on in Sharm el-Sheikh, this will be going to be our focus tonight. I'm Nermin Azim, broadcasting live from Cairo, the microcosm, or Egypt, let's say, the microcosm of the Holy Universe. So said poets of old, not my words, international and historians and poets of old. We start with the developments taking place economically speaking, and during the cabinet meeting last week chaired by Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, the Prime Minister, and Dr. Hala Said, the Minister of Planning, Follow-up and Administration Reform, gave a presentation on the economic and social performance indicators during the first quarter of 2019-2020. Dr. Hala Said pointed out that in terms of economic growth, the first quarter witnessed a stabilization in the economic growth rate, which reached 5.6%, and it is considered one of the important indicators during this period, which witnesses a continued slowdown in the global growth rates, which is expected to reach 3% in 2019 and 3.4% in 2020. The Minister of Planning explained that the IMF projections on the prospects of the global economy indicate that the growth rates of the Egyptian economy will reach 5.9 in 2020. With regard to public investments, the Minister pointed out that it amounted to about £87 billion in the first quarter of fiscal year 2019-2020, growth of 9%, of which £25 billion government investment, an increase of 20%. Dr. Mohammed Al-Assar, Minister of Military Production, said on Tuesday evening during a celebration of the start of the work of electric buses in Egypt, the hopes that soon Egypt will witness the inauguration of the industrial complex project for the production of the passenger cars, electric buses, and electric chargers at the Factory 200 military to be a center for the manufacture of electric vehicles, which creates new jobs. The electric car is an automatic car with air conditioning, rear camera, and multi-hoop. The company is expected to introduce a four-door electric car in 2020 as well. The new Egyptian electric car, manufactured by an Egyptian company in cooperation with the Ministry of Military Production, will be launched in the market. The Egyptian company of Silicon Industries, which manufactures the first Egyptian mobile phone, will start exporting its production to Europe this November. Mohammed Salim, chairman of the board of directors, said that the company signed an agreement last October with a strong exclusive agent in some European countries for export. He added, we will start exporting from Upper Egypt to Germany, the Netherlands, and Austria, and then Sweden, Norway, and Finland with the company's brand. The beginning will be in Germany in November. Besides our presence in Saudi Arabia, he said, Kuwait, UAE, and Oman. Hello, we have online now with us Dr. Ashraf Saleh, Professor of Economics and Finance. Hello, sir. Hello? Dr. Saleh? Dr. Saleh, are you with us?
Yes, I'm around, thank you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Just right now, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Dr. Saleh, very good news coming up with the cabinet saying that 5.6% growth rate and £87 billion public investments during the first quarter. Also about the electric cars.
Sorry, I cannot I cannot clearly hear you. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me I'll speak slowly and raise my voice. Can you hear now?
Yes, I can hear right now. Yes, please.
Okay. I said, you know, what we are witnessing are very good news about the cabinet meeting announcing 5.6% growth rate and 87 billion pounds public investments during the third quarter. This is one thing. And then, of course, we have also the electric cars that are going to be launched in the market. And also the mobile phone that is going to be exported to Germany and to Europe and other countries.
Okay.
Yes. Would you please shed light quickly on each point? Like now,
so you're actually talking about 4 points.
Yes. Yes.
The recent increase that occurred in the economic growth, which reached around 5.6%. The FDI or the foreign. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
I hear you. Yes.
Okay, and the second point is the increase in the foreign direct investment, which reached around 88 billion.
Yes.
The electric cars and the exporting of the mobile.
Yes.
So allow me just first to start on with the foreign direct investment, because maybe this is one of the things that may explain the majority of the other points.
Definitely, yes.
Since 2011 and up to 2018, Egypt have witnessed an increase that reached 250% in the foreign direct investments in the market.
Yes.
We used to be 2.2 billion in 2010-11, 4 billion 2011-12, slightly decreased in 2012-13 for 3.8 billion, then 2013-2014 4.1 billion, 2014-15 6.4, 15-16 6.9, then in 2016-2017 7.9 billion, and finally slight decrease in 2017-2018 7.7 billion.
Yes.
We cannot really we cannot really publicize the data or the info on 2018-2019 because it's not yet finished. But this is almost a 250% increase, which is a huge number.
Yes.
This is definitely one of the things that led to a substantial increase in the economic growth to be 5.6, with expectations to go up to 5.9 in the coming year.
Okay.
So this is for the first 2 points.
Yes.
Regarding the launching or the promise that the electric car will be launched in collaboration of a private entity as well as the production organizations belonging to the army, I think this is a quite a good information. However, one of the things that hopefully, if we need actually to increase the economic growth by a substantial percentage the following years, that we have to make sure that there is a very substantial portions of and contribution of Egyptian manufacturing. I mean, we hope that it's not going to be a matter of just assembling the car.
Yes.
However, we wish that we see a very big percentage of the Egyptian components in these cars, because this will definitely help to achieve these kinds of economic growth rates.
Okay, and the news about the new phone, this is a good development.
I'm sorry?
The news about launching, or let's say like the production, Egyptian production of the mobile phone and exporting it to Europe.
Yeah, and I think with the kind of prices and the value of the Egyptian currency, I think that the Egyptian mobiles will probably find a very good penetration power to the international market, especially when it comes to the price.
Yes.
But bear in mind that we have to re-mention that the quality should be competitiveness, again, the contribution of the local manufacturing. All of these things are the things that are clearly required to help in achieving a very good economic growth rate.
Yes, Dr. Ashraf.
However, if we turn into just an assembly unit, this cannot really help us in the coming era.
I think the news talked about production, but not assembly unit, but hopefully it's production. Dr. Ashraf Saleh, thank you very much for being with us. And more news also. The latest reports issued by the Central Bank of Egypt, CBE, revealed that domestic liquidity increased by 65.8 billion pounds during a period of July-August 2019-2020 by 1.7% to reach 3.9 trillion by the end of August 2019. The increase in domestic liquidity is a result of the increase in domestic and foreign assets, where the net foreign assets of the central bank increased to 38.5 billion pounds, an increase of 13.1% during the period July-August of the fiscal year 2019-2020. The increase came as a result of the increase in net foreign assets of banks by 26.6 billion and the net foreign assets of the central bank of 11.9 billion. Capital markets experts Hanan Ramsey said that Egyptian stock market witnessed for the third consecutive session during the last week, all indicators rose due to the purchasing centers formed by institutions, especially local, and values of trading gradually improving and settled in the green zone, approaching its main resistance area. Some Gulf states cut interest rates after the U.S. Federal Reserve cut interest rates in a move that reflects a general trend among the region's major economies to counter a possible global recession. The Federal Reserve announced on Wednesday evening for the third time the reduction of the main interest rate by 25 basis points to a range from 1.5% to 1.75%, and this reduction is the lowest interest rates in America since May 2018. The rate cut was widely expected to support 10-year economic growth, but gave mixed signals about its next move. Emirates Central Bank has decided to cut interest rates on CDs by 25 basis points. And in accordance with the directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, President of the Republic, to develop the ICT sector in line with the realization of Egypt's Sustainable Development Strategy 2030 for the advancement of the nation in various fields, Egypt is preparing to launch the first satellite for communication purposes, TIBA-1, which it will contribute to the provision of telecommunication services to the government and commercial sectors. The satellite was manufactured by the consortium of French companies, Thales Alenia Space, Airbus, one of the world's leading satellites, and is being prepared for launching by Arianespace, a leading satellite launcher. TIBA-1 will provide coverage to the Arab Republic of Egypt, some North African countries and the Nile Basin countries, as well as to boost development by providing telecommunications and broadband infrastructure to remote and isolated areas. And we have online Dr. Salah Harafa, professor at AUC. Hello, sir. Dr. Salah?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So we were talking about the news that came out, that Egypt broke this news in the field of communication satellite about the TIBA-1 satellite that is going to be launched. Could you elaborate on that, please?
Yes.
Hello?
I can't hear you well.
Yes.
Could you please raise your voice?
Yes. Dr. Arafat, there is the news that Egypt gave about, in the field of communication satellite, that Egypt is going to be launching a satellite called TIBA-1.
What?
Yes. What are the ramifications of that? What does that signify?
Well, this signifies that we are really up in the air with all the technologies that would put us in a better communication, better information, and I think change of knowledge.
Yes.
So I think this is a very good step.
Yes.
Exactly the same like the one step that we have for using of renewable energies in different aspects of the application.
Yes. Any economic ramifications to that, the launching of this satellite?
Well, I think we have to look for diversification of that.
Okay.
The communication with the satellite, it has certain application, and it is needed in many aspects. However, we need this type of communication on the earth by having the people in places like far away from the town or in the vast desert of Egypt. You know, we have 90% of our land is nearly desert.
Yes.
And I think we need to look forward to really make a better communication also on the earth.
Yes. Dr. Salah Arafah, thank you very much for being with us. And I'd like to introduce our guest for tonight. And of course, this is the subject we are going to be talking about: communication satellites and information technology and a lot of that. But I leave this to our guest, dear guest, to elaborate on. But first, let me introduce our guest. Our guest tonight, very special guest, Professor Dr. Engineer Sayed Al-Saqqa, Information Technology and Computer Engineer. Thank you, sir, for being with us.
Thanks a lot for having me with you. It's my honor and pleasure. I'm happy really to be with you in a very hot topic like this one.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's going to be, well, lots of questions and, of course, information that we'd require and ask for you to elaborate on and explain to us and the viewers.
Okay, I'm all yours, whatever you want.
Thank
yes.
you.
Okay.
We'll start that after a short break. We'll be coming back and starting our
right.
show
Thank you.
and
Yes.
our discussion. Stay tuned to us. Don't go away.
Thank you.
Egypt has uniquely undergone 2 revolutions in less than 3 years for better living and the rule of democracy. Egypt remains, after all, as an attractive investment destination despite the difficulties it faced. Ahead of the 2011 revolution, the Egyptian economy was performing well, as confirmed by all KPIs.
We feel very confident about the Egyptian market. The main factors or the main pillars of the Egyptian economy are still here, and they're not going anywhere.
Egypt is a good place to invest, first of all, because it's a big market. It's a big local market. It's a good geographical location. You have good people, and the costs are competitive. So it's a great place. It was, it is, and it will be a great place to invest.
back again to the studio on Money Means Business, and again our guest is Professor Dr. Engineer Assaid Saqqa, Information Technology and Computer Engineering. Welcome, sir, with us.
Thank you, Rose. Thank you again.
Sir, I don't know how to start, but then you listen to the issues
Yes.
that we were talking about, and they're all interrelated.
Yes, that's really, it is interrelated, interdependent. And we are going to talk about here the economic growth,
Yeah.
5.6. Actually, it is related to IC sector and all what we are would like to talk about here. Information, communication, technology. They talked about satellite here for launching TIBA-1. What's called, this is one of what we would like to concentrate and what's related with our conference, which is WRC, that for the time being, which is held right now from 28th of October till 22nd of November in Sharm el-Sheikh. This is the most beautiful city. As well, we're talking about electric cars jointly. Each one of those, it is interrelated in a way or another with our high technology and what 5G and IoT, and we'll talk about all of this in
Definitely.
a very simple way.
Yes.
Let me start about, and then we'll tie up things together, because actually we are going to talk about something we have here, what we call it systemic, not systematic. Systematic, it means it is logical where, but systemic is coming from system.
Okay.
It means here it is related into, like system is defined in science, as it is a set of interrelated, interdependent components that they are working in a way to achieve the objectives.
Yeah.
Here for our state, actually we have what we call it SDG, or Sustainable Development Goals. And this is one of our main objectives here. I would like to tie things together. For the time being, we have a very glorious event here that Egypt is hosting what they call it here ITU WRC. It is International Telecommunication Union World Radio Communication Conference.
Okay.
What's the meaning of this?
But before starting with the meaning of it, let's just highlight that it's like the first time Egypt hosts it, and the first time it's hosted anywhere else.
Yes, actually, it is the first time to get out of their premises. It is held usually from 3 to 4 years in Geneva. This is its place there, its premises, and for 2 decades, 20 years, it's the first time to get out of Geneva and be here.
And the first time they come to Egypt.
And the first time, and they come to Egypt. Of course, there were many people they are supporting and some they are opposing. But
we know who's opposing, so yes, the support.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
But the point here, actually, by the end of the day, we succeeded.
Yeah.
It means a lot of things. It means here, they do appreciate our IC, information, communications effort, or our IC sector, what we have been doing, and we are on the right track. Though we have started, on the right track, it's not quite long ago. It's a few years ago.
Yeah.
And we know when it started, especially here that our president and the administrative and all the government, they are taking this seriously. It's not talking, they are acting. And there is a great difference between talking and acting. And that's what it's here that we can talk about it. Here it is what we are acting. People, they can tell easily who is serious, who is working on, who would like to achieve that goals, global goals.
Yeah.
And this is an honor for Egypt and the happiness for all of us. This is one point. The first time they declared here to have these participants more than 2,000, they were expecting 2,000 participants.
Yeah.
Actually, we are increasing 3,500, more than that. More than 150 countries, or almost, they say all the countries are participating in that.
Yeah.
Over 50 ministers and deputy ministers of states, they are in that. And many different entities, they all working in this conference. And it is almost 1 month, 4 weeks. It means very long.
Yeah.
What's ITU? Everyone would like to ask what's kind of ITU, what's WRC, and let us simplify the objective of this and then work with each other step by step. ITU, it's a leading agency belonging to United Nations.
Okay.
Its purpose or mission of ITU, International Telecommunication Union, it is formal that they will have to take care of standardization, to make here a standardization, managing the spectrum, developing and taking and making everybody connected in the globe, in all in the earth, I mean, not either developing or developed countries. This is their main objectives. So they are supporting people to have, information communication technologies, either it is for mobile or it is for satellite, and we have either this will be for maritime, sky, for airplanes, in the ground, in isolated grounds. So that's the main purpose or the main goal with that sustainable. It has to be sustainable. Okay. The point here, we have a natural limited resource, which is called the spectrum, radio spectrum. It is limited by nature. So if we are expecting for very near future, it's going up exponentially, the number of devices, how we are using the electromagnetic radio frequencies now. So we expect that we'll have a conflict, interference. So we'll have to have somehow shares, for all the different nations and states in an equal and fair way to be shared among each other. That's the purpose of our WRC. Here for WRC, which the World, once again, Radio Communication Conference, they would like to sit together, debate, talk about what they have done, review WRC 15 4 years ago, and this especially it is for preparing for 5th generation IoT, for AI, artificial intelligence, robotic, for smart villages, for smart cities, for smart nations, many things to talk about in this area.
We'll talk about that. This is very important to talk about the point, but the timing of the conference now, does you see that significance?
It is proper and critical at the same time. According to the plan, they were planning here to reach for 5G, it will be 2020. Now it is 2019. Fortunately, we have fulfilled, the globe, all the states, the world. They have reached many things in advance of the plan, of what they were planning. The point here, we are about to rely upon 5th generation, or 5G.
Allow me to interrupt you here to get more explanations. We hear about 3G, 4G, and 5th generation. What's the difference? What do they signify?
Let me simplify this in a very simple way.
Okay.
We started with 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G lately, and now we are talking about 5G or 5th generation.
Okay.
It's not only the speed, but here's the speed of transmission, of communication. For mobile, it's more than that. This will change the shape and how the things are going. And without this, we have many challenges with 3G and 4G. Now the speed, it's 100 times. I don't want to go deeply in
numbers.
In numbers, because I don't want to confuse our audience. But really, let us talk about we are expecting to reach to 10 giga. We are working right now for our mobiles. SDL, it is 30 mega, for example, reaches for 10 or 15 mega. And we know giga, it's 1,000 of mega. So we cannot do, for example, applications in medicine, driverless cars, like the electrical cars, but driverless car, which is a new shape or a new version of that, without having 5 generation. Because what we call it latency or delay time, the time which is used from sending the message to the sensor to accept this one and to react. It's so simple, because if you would like to navigate with a car to stop, if there is certain delay, it may have an accident. So with 4G, they cannot do it. But with 5G, they have from 50 milliseconds. 50 milliseconds means 0.05 seconds. 0.05 seconds. 5 over 100 of the seconds. I'm trying to say it one by one. Really, it will reach from 50, this latency, to 1 milliseconds. 50 times. I mean, divided by 50 times. That's the time which is required to have that kind of autonomous cars, what we call it connected cars, which will start with in the smart cities, as we are talking about our project.
Okay, so it's not any city, it has to be a smart city,
It has to
definitely.
be as a start to have, till we are going to arrange and make all the, the organization for doing this. If we are going to rely on 4G, we won't be able to do this. This is one example. Second one, robotics. If we are going to talk about robotics applied in medicine, now what we can do right now and what we cannot do and what we are looking forward to do.
Yeah.
You can run remotely. You cannot do remote surgical operation, internationally right now because of the delay, latency of the communication, you see. Once again, 50 milliseconds, 1 millisecond. But when we are reaching 5G, in this case, or first generation, it will be able to control this. I will have surgeon, for example, in Australia and in the state, in Egypt, and is operating in different country. This is one of the things. One of the main things that we are looking or talking about is IoT. We always talking about IoT. IoT stands for Internet of Things. Internet of Things.
What's Internet of Things?
Yes, I'm trying to simplify. Starting from toothbrush.
Okay.
It will be smart one. Everything will be smart in all our life.
What's the meaning of like smart here?
Smart,
Everything
yes.
is smart.
It means that it has some embedded computer system, engineering. Like, let me talk about something which could be tangible. We'll have, for example, our washing machine. It's smart. They know when the water is about to finish, rains, how many, and so on, according to different programs.
They do things, they program and they do things.
They do programs and things according to events, according to the events. The machine is taking the decision itself. So here, when we talk about toothbrush, smart toothbrush, it's going to have photos of our, we don't have that kind of things, we have beautiful teeth, you know, yes. And then they will report that to somewhere, to database, medical database. So they will need that we'll have to have a checkup, a very fast checkup. They will need to have some filling. This, for example. And then coming here, I'm just talking about daily use, about a smart home. Our washing machine, our TV set, it's not only passive, only broadcasting. It will have camera, and at the same time, it will take and will sense what we want. They will adapt. The machine itself is going to adapt according to our taste. What kind of programs, like cookies in laptop and mobiles, they give you some advertisement and e-commerce, what you are looking for. If you are going to look for fashion, then you will find a lot of fashion. If I am scientific looking for devices, they will, propose devices. Everything will be smart. Everything is going to talk with each other. If you'd like to simplify this, things are everything. Things are everything.
Exactly, it's like the Internet of Things. Like, what are the things?
Things are, starting with machines, tools, animal, people, whatever may be. We need these things to talk with each other, to connect with each other. Look at connection here. We're coming back to connection, to communication with each other without intervention of man. We would like this to be fully automated. Can you imagine what we are talking about? Let us imagine a scenario.
Amazing.
Amazing. This is amazing. Our life would be changing, not only here. And if you are not going to cope with and keep pace with what's going on, really will be in a different world. We wouldn't be here living in this era.
What I understand is that the new capital is going to be exactly
yes.
That is going to be a model for the rest of the country, the cities,
Yes.
And this is, even the architecture is just done on other parameters and
that's
smart,
true.
Definitely.
Mentioning smart cities.
Exactly, yeah.
Mentioning smart cities, and there is one point I'd like to shed the light on. People, they think that we are talking about technology. It's only technology, communication technology, information technology, leading technology. No, it's not like this. Actually, it starts with visionary people, planners. They will see, they make a model computer simulator model. That's, once again, we are using technology as a tool.
Okay.
And then we'll see, for example, the shades, how the shades are coming, so we can get where will be our parking, where will be the sensors for parking. For example, I'm just giving an example. If we are going to talk about here, a smart city, we start with connectivity, connection, infrastructure. But the technology on top of that, at the beginning, we'll say it's a new, like when we were talking about digital transformation. Digital transformation, some people, they misperceive this one and they say that everything will be digitized. No, it's not the point. The point here, it's a new way of thinking. When we say digital, we don't mean digital digitized, we mean technology, leading technology. It means it's a new way of thinking, innovative, creative, entrepreneurship. And at the same time, we have a new model of business. Let me give an example about this one. If we are talking about, I'm not going to mention the names of these cars which we are using for here, which is an international one. But the concept, this is a new business model.
Okay.
What they are doing, all this is relying upon communication technology, information technology. The idea which is used here, that you are going to reserve your car, they will decide where you are, and they will find the nearest car to your place using GPS, global positioning system, and then it will be directed automatically, and it will come to you, and then will go, and they will issue at the end of the day how many kilometers, how many delay time, and then they will say you'll have to pay 200 Egyptian pounds, for example. This will be transferred to your account. This is a new business model. That's what we are talking about. So we start here with innovative people. We start with visionary people. I keep telling people you have to dream, and knowing the concept, we'll reach to the moon or reach beyond the moon. The sky is our limit. I keep telling them. Fortunately, this era that we are talking about, it relies here about the mindware. We kept saying hardware, software, but now there is what we call it mindware. Fortunately, we are enjoying mindware here in Egypt. We are almost 100 million, and we have 60% almost of youth. They are enthusiastic, motivated, they are energetic, positive energy, and all what we needed before, and we started, actually, we'd like to have some direction, someone to supervise, coaching, mentoring, telling them where to go, leadership. And fortunately, we have this right leadership right now. We are on the right track. So here, I think that here, economic growth, it will be more than the expected one and projected one that we were talking about in the beginning when you are delivering this news. Here, when we are talking about communication, 5G, Internet of Things, everything will be done automatically.
Okay.
But fortunately, as well here, the infrastructure is not expensive. Because the new technology, which I don't want to go inside, deeply, because I don't want the audience.
Do we have the infrastructure?
Yes, the infrastructure to be simple, because they are using actually it is 5 main new technologies, starting from millimeter wavelength. It means high frequencies, and then what we call it small cells. It means we don't want to have huge, but it's working with, it's a very small, what we call it MIMO, multiple input, multiple output antennas. We'll have here forming or directed antennas, because every one of those, and duplex. This is the 5 main technology which are covering here the 5G.
Yeah.
All this leave this for us, for technical people, pure technical.
We want to understand the whole, the concept without...
the whole here, anyone will ask me, what are we going to gain of this? I mean, man, street man, layman, he will say, what are you talking about? And saying giga, mega, whatever you are saying.
Like macroeconomics and microeconomics.
Yes, micro, and by the end, what I'm going to feel. I'll tell him something. For example, if you are interested in movies, and we used to download movies for 1 day before, when we have, for example, 800 megabytes megabytes movie, one movie, we stay for 8 hours for downloading. And then after that, it came to 2-3 hours for the time being with 100 mega. I mean, for 4G, it takes minutes. I would like to tell you, with 5G, it's 1 second. Can you imagine 1 second? Just like that.
This is a
I think this is tangible.
I
think this is tangible for us to
yeah.
download, to have a feeling of what's happening. On the other side, if you are watching whatever may be names, I don't mention the names, streaming, movie streaming or episode, whatever here, our respectable one here, there is no buffering. I mean, there is no delay.
Yeah.
It's directly. Here we guarantee...
Buffering would like you, people would just lose interest. Definitely.
And sometimes if there is congestion, traffic congestion in communication, this will feel it. People, they say, what you're talking about, milliseconds? Milliseconds, it means one over 1,000 of seconds. Yes, but it is accumulated because everyone is trying, like congestions of traffic, this queuing. Here for 5G, they don't do that. There is no congestions. Everyone, and for the spectrum that we start talking about, now we are here, radio spectrum. Yeah. Now we are, what we call it, this conference, I may say this is radio spectrum arena. Everyone would like to have a share. But here, ITU, this is UN, they are organizing that kind of thing. So people right now, they have here groups, study groups, what they call study groups. For every issue of this, they are studying. This is for 1 month almost. Okay. And then will they come with a kind of debate. I would like to have this spectrum for satellite, for geostationary, for non-geostationary, that's for 5G, that's for IMT, and so on, all that kind of things. And then they will agree upon, and we hope they will have a consensus about what they reach. Yeah. And that's the output. This is the outcome. Once they agreed upon, everyone wants coming back to economic issue. If I would like to have a direct investment here, no one is coming and to invest his money unless he has a sustainable media environment. If I don't know that I have here a sustained frequency spectrum that I'm relying on, how should I invest my money? You see? So everything is interrelated, interconnected, as we started, interdependent, as we're starting our beginning conversation.
Money is business, money means business, technology means a lot of business, means money, and also internet.
Internet.
Means technology, technology means internet, it means, like money and business.
Our expectation for 5G, there will be a huge investment, economic investment, and people, they know how far they are going to gain of that ROI, return of investment. We are expecting they will plan for 35 billion devices, 35 billion devices, and they will do that for 100 billion devices. Can you imagine? If we'd like to look at this smart era that we will reach, it's very short. I mean, it's not far future, it's near future.
Well, if they made the Android that talks like human, you can be fooled if you did not know that this is an Android. Yes. It's really
that's
amazing.
Right. Yeah. Here, starting from home, smart home, as we decided, everything, for example, your refrigerator, it has its display, it has its agenda, it tells you how you are going to fill, which one is about to be expired. It will suggest for you meals for healthy one, and then the programs, and it is adaptive. The point here, it looks like here a human. We would like to give a simplified model analogy about a smart city. Look at the human himself. We have green areas, greeny, that's what we call greeny in smart cities, like our administrative smart city, and Alamein as well. This represents our lungs, healthy. If we imagine a human being without lungs, he wouldn't be able to live. And then we have here our nervous system. which has the brain as a controller, which will send the information and will give it to. We have the communication. That's why we'll have infrastructure for connectivity between everything. We have the 5 senses: taste, smell, see, hear, and feel. It is the same thing. We have sensory systems there. We have, for example, sensors for parking. If there is a car and you would like to park, what happens? This is a very simplified, just to let people imagine what's going on. What happens if I'm going and there is some crowdness, and then you may go around the buildings to find a place. Yeah. But what happens here for one of these services and applications in IoT that we are talking about here? There is sensors. Whenever there is a car, it will park. They will send a signal, communication once again, to the system database there, and this one is occupied, it's not available. And which is not used, it's available. And then if you would like to park, the system itself, the machine, is going to send you to your car where to go and park. Imagine what's going on. You are saving. It's amazing, really. This is the life that we are looking for. By the end of the day, everyone will be happy, will live a better life, will be enjoying prosperity. That's not only luxury and safety and everything. Considering safety, you remember Titanic.
Yeah.
One of the main points that you are looking for, and one of these, study groups right now, they're looking here if there is something repeated like this one for Titanic, because there were no communication, there was no connection.
So this,
yes, that's why it's our purpose.
Let me, because time took us, before we end up in very important. They are amazing achievements, but then what are the bad points concerning that? I mean, they're just wonderful points, but there is a side, the good side and the bad side.
Definitely, there is pros and cons.
Yeah.
And actually, the main challenge is the security. What we call it hacking, viral measures, which is against. If we are not going to grasp and to own our technology, and know the secrecy and the privacy of this one, we won't be able to protect ourselves, because as long as you are getting sophisticated, the threats are increasing more and more. And let me end with this one. Now, for the time being, they're expecting here that a kind of hacking or this, malicious measures, it would be taken against ED, electronic devices. Imagine that we are going to take this, or they are going to do it against medical devices, for example, for ears. It will be catastrophic here.
Of course,
so they can send a message for this one, instead of just to remedy, they will penetrate our eyes. Can you imagine it? I want people
the extreme side, that's really bad.
Extreme side. I want them to imagine, because it's not, we don't have here, luxury to relax. We'll have to work on this. What we call it cyber security. And we know who is number one in cyber security. I keep asking for this point. We'll have to take care of it. And fortunately, we're on the right track. We have our people, we have our leadership, we know where we are going, and prosperity is waiting for us.
Definitely. But one point also, since we are all connected, I don't think husbands, would be able to cheat on their wives, or either vice versa. It will be known where they are.
That's the way I'm doing. Actually, for the time being, even without 5G, we have some techniques I'll let you about after.
Okay, so we have to just caution. Professor Said Essaq, thank you very much for being with us. It was a pleasure having you. And we will just have more as the results and with the developments, of course. We need to know more about that. There are lots of points that we couldn't tackle. Time is up, unfortunately.
Thanks a lot for having me here. I really enjoyed the discussion with you.
Thank you.
I know, as
Likewise.
we keep saying, heart from heart to heart is always reaches the heart, yes.
Exactly.
And I hope that you have simplified that technical aspects, and we're looking forward to meet again. Thank you very much.
God willing, thank you very much for being with us. I'd like to thank also my viewers for being there. We'll see you again next week. As for now, as we always end, God bless Egypt, God bless Egyptians, God bless our army and our police and our president. God bless the world. So until we meet again, I'm Nermin Azim, definitely, and until we meet again, as we always end up, we have a quote from the Holy Quran, ادخلوها بسلام إن شاء الله آمنين, enter Egypt, God willing, safe, and from the Holy Bible, Mubarak Sha'bi Misr, blessed be Egypt, my people. I'm Nermin Azim signing off. Goodbye for now.